The world of professional tennis is a battlefield of power, speed, and mental fortitude. Every match, every point, every swing of the racket can change a player's destiny. For Alexandra Ila, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, her historic Wimbledon run had already captured the hearts of millions. She had beaten the legendary Serena Williams. She had dethroned the defending champion Iga Swiatek. She had reached the fourth round, becoming the first Filipino in the Open era to achieve such a feat. She had surged to a career-high ranking of world number 28. She had become a national hero, a symbol of hope, and an inspiration to millions. But at the DC Open, she did something even more incredible. She stormed into the final with back-to-back victories over Olympic champion Qin Wenjing, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, former world number 3 Elina Svitolina, and four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. The stage was set for the biggest match of her career. She was just one win away from her first WTA 500 title, a $252,000 payday, and a place in tennis history. But then, just when fans thought the final couldn't get any more dramatic, a major update changed everything. The championship match was suspended. The tennis world was left in suspense. The fans were left waiting. And all eyes turned to one woman who had the authority to make the final call. Allison Andresen Yates, the chief operating officer of the DC Open, broke her silence with an update that changed everything. This is the story of how rain paused the DC Open final and why the championship must wait. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Before we dive into the dramatic suspension and the official update, we must first understand the magnitude of the match that was interrupted. Alex Ila's path to the DC Open final had been nothing short of spectacular. She had arrived in Washington with the momentum of a historic Wimbledon campaign and had continued her winning ways, defeating four top-tier opponents in a row. She had beaten Zheng Qinwen, the Olympic gold medalist, in a three-set thriller. She had then dismantled defending champion Leylah Fernandez in straight sets, 6-2, 7-61. She followed that up with a masterclass against former world number 3 Elina Svitolina, winning 6-3, 6-4. And in the semifinals, she produced her most impressive performance yet, crushing four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka 6-4, 6-2. Her run to the final had made her the first Filipino to reach a WTA 500 final and had captured the attention of the entire tennis world. Standing across the net from her was Jessica Pegula, the world number 3 and the top seed at the tournament. Pegula is a seasoned veteran, a player who has won 11 WTA titles and is one of the most consistent performers on the tour. She had already won the DC Open once before, back in 2019, and was looking for her third title of the year after victories in Dubai and Charleston. The final was a rematch of their 2025 Miami Open semi-final, where Pegula had won a hard-fought three-set battle. But Ila was a different player now. She was more powerful, more confident, and more experienced. She had already beaten four top-tier opponents in a row and was ready to prove that she could beat the best. The stage was set for a blockbuster showdown, a clash between the rising star and the established champion. The highly anticipated final was originally scheduled for Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 a.m. Monday in Manila. But Mother Nature had other plans. Inclement weather in Washington, D.C., including rain and lightning, forced the tournament organizers to delay the start. The match was pushed back several times, with the tournament issuing an alert on social media: play will not resume before 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time due to rain and lightning. Everyone on site should seek shelter immediately. The delay stretched into the evening, testing the patience of the players and the fans who had gathered to witness history. When the match finally got underway around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 a.m. in Manila, the players were eager to get started. Pegula, a player who was no stranger to the big stage, made a strong start. She claimed the opening set 6-4, converting 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities. The American won 100 of her first serve points and broke Ila's serve once. But Ila was not deterred. The young Filipina, who had shown incredible resilience throughout the tournament, began to find her rhythm in the second set. She held her opening 2 service games to edge ahead 2-1, without facing a single break point. It looked like the momentum was shifting in her favor. But then, disaster struck. Heavy rain and lightning returned to Washington, forcing the players off the court at 3:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for AM in Manila. The match was suspended, with Pegula leading 6-4, 1-2 on serve in the second set. The championship, which had been building to its climax, was suddenly on hold. The fans, the players, and the officials could only wait and watch the skies. The day saw the second highest rainfall accumulation of the year in Washington, D.C., making the decision to postpone an easy one for safety reasons. After nearly 9 hours of intermittent heavy rain, thunder, and lightning Sunday, the D.C. Open postponed its women's and men's finals until Monday. The tournament announced the postponements at 9:06 p.m. to a hearty few members of the crowd who were still hanging out on the grounds. The update that changed everything came from the tournament's leadership. Allison Andresen Yates, the chief operating officer of the Mubadala DC Open, was the one who had to make the call on behalf of the tournament. The decision was not taken lightly. The prospect of a Monday final is slightly complicated for the DC Open, which, as a late summer tournament held in the Mid-Atlantic, deals with weather delays nearly every year. But summer storms rarely affect the final in Washington, and extending the tournament by a day puts players in a slight time crunch as the next event on most players' calendars, the National Bank Open, which hosts its men's event in Montreal this year and women's event in Toronto, already started Sunday. The organizers confirmed the rescheduled timing in a social media post. Matches have been cancelled for tonight. The women's singles final will now take place at 12 p.m. tomorrow. The men's singles final will take place not before 1 p.m. tomorrow. Ticketing information to come soon. The announcement was met with understanding from the fans, who knew that the safety of the players and the spectators was the top priority. The match, which was originally scheduled for Sunday, would now resume on Monday, adding another layer of drama to an already unforgettable tournament. The organizers also made an effort to accommodate fans, announcing that Sunday tickets would be honored for Monday's finals and that an additional 1,000 tickets were being offered to provide the best atmosphere possible. Allison Andresen Yates' official update provided clarity and direction for everyone involved, ensuring that the championship would reach its conclusion with the safety and integrity of the event upheld. The rescheduling of the DC Open final added a new dimension to the championship. The women's final was rescheduled to resume on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 a.m. Tuesday in Manila. The men's final, featuring Taylor Fritz and Rafael Joda, was scheduled to follow not before 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The delay impacted not just the tournament but also the players' schedules. Both Ila and Pegula are set to compete in the National Bank Open in Toronto, which had already begun. The delay meant they would have less time to travel and prepare for their next tournament. However, both players are exempt from the first round as they are seeded, giving them a slight buffer. The players desperately wanted to play tennis on Sunday, as they wanted to travel to Toronto and Montreal, respectively, where the National Bank Open WTA and ATP 1000 tournaments got underway on Sunday. The rescheduling also gave Ila a chance to regroup. She had been trailing 6-4, 1-2 when the match was suspended, but she had also begun to find her footing in the second set. She had broken Pegula's serve and was serving at deuce when the rain came. The delay could be a blessing in disguise for the young Filipina, giving her time to reset and refocus. The match was poised at a critical juncture, with the outcome still very much in doubt. Pegula had the experience and the lead, but Ila had the momentum. The tennis world was now waiting to see who would rise to the occasion when the match resumed. The rescheduling also meant that the tournament would extend into Monday, which would create a logistical challenge for the organizers as they had to manage the scheduling of both finals in a single day, but it was the best possible solution given the circumstances. The suspension of the DC Open final is a reminder that in sports, as in life, the only certainty is uncertainty. The match between Alex Ila and Jessica Pegula was supposed to be decided on Sunday, but now it will be decided on Monday. The delay adds a new layer of drama and anticipation to an already historic event. For Ila, the delay is a test of her mental fortitude and her ability to stay focused. She was in the middle of a comeback when the rain came, and she will need to pick up where she left off. For Pegula, the delay is an opportunity to regroup and maintain her lead. She knows that Ela is a dangerous opponent, and she will need to be at her best to close out the match. The tennis world is now waiting to see who will emerge as the champion. The impact of Allison Andresen Yates' update on the tournament was immediate. It provided the clarity that players, fans, and media needed to plan for the final day of the event. It also highlighted the importance of having a clear and effective communication strategy when dealing with unexpected events. The tournament's ability to adapt and communicate its decisions effectively will be a key factor in ensuring that the finals are a success, despite the challenges posed by the weather. The tennis world is now watching to see if Ela can complete her historic run or if Pegula will prove why she is one of the best in the world. One thing is certain, the Ela mania is only just beginning. The world is watching, and the support for Ela has never been stronger. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell.